Before the war, Leningrad had over 3 million citizens, and the city itself was an important place in communist Russia. The city was so important because of its location close to the Baltic Sea. Until 1940, it was the main port of the Baltic Fleet. There were also many scientific research institutes and a strategic tank production center. The city was bustling with life. On the 22nd of June 1941, the biggest army invasion in world history began. Nazi Germany launched an operation against the USSR, with the front line stretching from the Baltic Sea to the Black Sea. Strategically important points included cities like Kiev and Leningrad. The German Army Group North, under the command of Wilhelm von Liebe, was first tasked with taking Leningrad by storm. However, over time, the plan changed to besieging the city and winning it over by hunger. On the 8th of September 1941, German forces encircled the city. From the north, the blockade was supported by Finnish troops, and from the south by Germans. Despite being warned about the enemy's attack, Soviet commanders had not prepared enough supplies. A political commissar sent from Moscow reported that the city had only 35 days' worth of grain, 30 days of pasta and groats, and 33 days of meat. Hunger started very quickly, and in an attempt to redistribute food, rations were cut drastically. The worst problems began when the cold came in late autumn. In October, power was completely cut off, and fuel reserves had already been consumed by factories. By November, workers were given only 250 grams of bread per day. But this bread was not like the bread we know today. At first, cotton seed cake, animal feed, was mixed into the dough, and later even cellulose from pine trees. In December, hunger began taking its toll. That month alone, 53,000 people died, and so many bodies lay in the streets that there was no one left to pick them up. NKVD reports noted that cases of cannibalism had already begun, people eating corpses. One witness recalled, "One event sticks very prominently in my mind. One day, my auntie and I went to pick up some bread from the bakery on our ration cards. My auntie told me to wait outside the bakery while she got the bread. Whilst I was waiting, a woman approached me and told me to follow her. She promised to give me bread, sweets, and other treats. I went after her. I believed her. After all, I was hungry. My auntie left the bakery and found me gone. She called for me, and then she saw me from afar. I was being dragged into the woman's flat. My auntie called a policeman and he arrested the woman. She was taken outside and shot on the spot. It turned out that the woman was a cannibal. She wanted to eat me. Her flat was searched by the police, and they found many human body remains. Some were half-eaten. Month after month, hunger took more and more lives. German attacks only made the situation worse, as many people lost their homes. Food became the most valuable possession. Those who had relatives in the countryside could sometimes count on extra supplies, which were traded as priceless goods. In winter, Lake Ladoga froze, which allowed the creation of the so-called Road of Life. This road became the main attempt to supply the city, but transport across it was constantly threatened by Luftwaffe air raids. Supplies sent through Lake Ladoga were intended mostly for the army. Life in the city during the winter was tragic. On some days, up to 4,000 people were dying. Anna Reid, in her book Leningrad, Tragedy of a City Under Siege, based on NKVD reports, writes that some mother strangled her 18-month-old daughter in order to feed herself and her 3 older children. On the 22nd of January, the authorities decided to begin a mass evacuation of civilians. By 15th April, 554,000 people had been transported out of the city. When the severe cold finally ended, another decision was made. All green areas had to be turned into farmland to fight starvation. One of the few things that kept hope alive among the citizens was the radio. When it went silent, many begged for it to be turned back on. Historian W.W. Mavrodin called Leningrad radio a lifeline during the war. Letters were sent to the station. One of them read, "Let the radio speak. Without it, it's frightening, like being in a grave." Mark Solonin, in his book How the Soviet Union Won the War, recalls the inequality in how people were treated. For example, Comrade Rybkowski noted in his diary, "I don't feel specific shortages of food. Breakfast is pasta, soup, or groats with butter. For lunch, soup, and for the second dish, every day there is meat." These are just a few examples of what was happening in Leningrad between 1941 in 1942. The city looked apocalyptic, yet the complete lifting of the siege did not happen until 1944. By then, it is estimated that around 700,000 people had died. Do you think that it was possible to avoid so many losses?